coming 30 minutes, I offer you this opportunity to put your devices, your phones, and if you are normally sticking with them through your whole day, digital devices aside and spend this morning 30 minutes of your morning with us. Today we're going to be doing short practice here at our mindfulness studio, and I thought that it's very important to continue our practice even today is a day off, and maybe on your day off you will have better chance to practice our practices here and start working on this as well. And I would like to remind you that here we are trying to live our life with a mindfulness approach for life. And I would like to remind you that mindfulness, we talk about mindfulness as a skill. So what we are doing here is we are training our mind, our brain to live a more mindful life. And as with all skills, practice is very important. And today, and as always, I'm gonna ask you to do some homework or some practice that you can do on your own. So keep being with us till the end. You'll get some homework for those of you who don't like word homework, your personal practice for the week. I'll give you your personal practice for the week. So let's start reminding ourselves what mindfulness gives us. So why we are practicing it. We keep reminding our brain, keep reminding ourselves why living a mindful life and living our life with a mindful approach is very important. So mindfulness gives us an emotional intelligence skill, and you may find this everywhere now that emotional intelligence rather than usual intelligence that have been tested with IQ tests for a long time. So now we are focusing on the emotional intelligence as well. And people of the future, they're going to be evaluated, and they're going to be succeed based on how emotionally intelligent they are. So practicing emotional intelligence is very important. Another benefit is mindfulness approach teach us how to manage stress. So we would like to talk about this as a stress management, not just a stress control or stress reduction, but a stress management. So with the management, we have like a fuller approach to stress, understanding it, seeing it, differentiating it, and then controlling and doing something with it. So stress management is also a very important quality of people of the future. And of course, in order to practice it and in order to see how your stress management skill is working, I'd like to say that, of course, you need to kind of be able to live in this future time. So you have to go through now and end up in this future that we are all talking about. And for this, you need to also know how to manage your stress, because you know that stress affects everything. Another very important thing is mindfulness approach substantially improve the quality of our life, and the quality of life is very important. Of course, when our basic needs met, we start talking about quality of life and trying to broaden and improve the quality of life. And the fourth advantage that mindfulness approach gives us is what I would like to talk today is it trains our focus, and it allows us to be more focused, be more attentive, and be excuse me, and be more aware of our now and of our present moment of our life. So as I said, today I want to talk more about being focused, be attentive, being aware, and we're gonna talk a little bit, do some practice, then, as I said, homework, and we'll finish with our practice for today. So let's talk about our focus, how attentive we are. So if I ask you this question and I ask you how focused you are, how attentive to the present of now, to the present moment, to your life you are, of course, you probably, unless you are diagnosed with some kind of disease, you all answer the positive that you are pretty focused, pretty attentive. Some may already notice that their focus is not sharp like they want it to be, and they understand like how important it is to be focused and to have this sharp focus or to improve it through things you are doing in your life. So, but another question is, think of what is your answer to the following question. Are you thinking or are you processing something something more than just watching me, listening to me, and trying to be focused on what I'm doing, what I'm talking about? So think of this way. So try to think, am I right now wondering, or my mind is wondering about something else rather than watching this live stream on Facebook? So am I doing something else in my head? Or I'm just single tasking and focusing on this particular thing? And comment below on our Facebook page. So comment what your answer is. Are you fully focused? Are you not thinking about anything else? Or you are wondering and at the back of your mind something else is going on? And this is a great question to assess what we call in mindfulness practice, it's what we call autopilot mode. So our brain can function in two modes, in an autopilot mode and in a focused, very sharp focused manner. So the things that we know how to do and we are so efficient in them, like for example, if you are a good driver, sometimes you go in your car and you drive to the place, to your destination. So you reach this destination, you drove there, you're at this place, and you're thinking, oh my God, how did I just do this? So how did I manage to go through this traffic, through lights, through everything? It's such a dangerous process, but you made it, sometimes without even thinking, being fully focused. And that's what our mind in autopilot mode is doing. And another thing is that you need to manage to do some important task, probably the one that you are doing the first time, or you are not very trained in it, very efficient in it yet. And you are trying to do it with your full focus. And that's how that's where if anything interrupts you, you feel irritated, you need the full attention, the full focus to this process. So when I ask you this question right now, were you wondering something rather than watching me? This is a great way to learn about both of your process. So you can be focused, and you are partially focused watching me right now, but also you can be in an autopilot mode. Your mind continue wandering, continue doing something and thinking about future, thinking about maybe past, processing some information, or maybe thinking of if you have something important to come up to do this Monday, you may be thinking about this in advance as well. And where this is, as I said, the great moment to learn this, and we start, if you want to change something, to improve something, you start from learning, from figuring out what it really is going on. So try to again think of your autopilot and focused mode, and see how it's going for you. It's good that you can, if it's your intention, you can focus on this program like 95%, if not 100 is, I guess, not very possible, so even 95%. But if you are even 50-50, it's also great, so you can learn a lot from both of the state of your mind. And in order to test our focus and how our focus is behaving, how we are focusing on things, we're gonna do today this practice. And I invite you to do this practice with me right now. And before we start doing, I'll tell you why it's important to train this focus and to work on the focus, to train these mindful skills. So we tend to say that there is in our life and in all our action, there is a stimulus and there is an action. So in order for you to do any action in your life, even the things that we are very often doing these days is like answering an email. Before doing an action, answering an email, we all have a stimulus, so something stimulated us. Most of the time, our stimulus and our action is going together, and they stick together, so there is no gap in between them. Once we get a stimulus, we are automatically acting. So we tend to say if we trying to separate them and allow a small gap in between them, this is where the life is happening. So this is where you have time, even just 1 second, to allow yourself to think, to understand what is really going on in between the stimulus and your action. So think of how important this is. Even if you train yourself of having just a second of this space in between your stimulus and action, this is a great advantage and a great success. If you are not believing in this, think of an Olympic Games. So we know that sometimes even just 1 second make the champion as an Olympic champion. Even 1 second to think before doing something can make a huge difference in your life. Notice how you talk with people. Notice how you interact with. Sometimes it's very important in a very stressful, difficult situations. And we all are now living in very unprecedented, very tough, very challenging time. So we are bombarded with all the information. And this is a great stimulus for us to do something. So think, allow yourself this gap in between your stimulus and your action. And this is where your life is actually happening, allowing you to stop, to think, to concentrate, to think of where your focus should go. What should I do? Maybe not should, but what can I do? What I would like to do. And this approach is greatly works with eating, the things we are doing in our daily life. So before your stimulus, sometimes something is going on in your body. It may be physical hunger, which is good, but sometimes it may be emotional hunger. Sometimes it may be different kind of emotions, situations, something that you process going through in your life, in your body, and the action is grabbing something, reaching out to food, reaching out to most sugary fast food. So, and if you separate it and allow the gap in between your stimulus and your action, you will have time to understand what is really going on. And you have this, rather than stimulus and reflect, So reflect on the stimulus. You can create a response. So because the response is something that you thought, you processed, and you are forming your response. So you are not not reflecting, but reacting. You are not reacting on your stimulus, but you are responding to it. And your response can be different, and your response can be different from time to time. Okay, maybe today you need this cookie, maybe today you need this donut, and maybe today you need doing something like acting on your stimulus certain way. But when it's in a responsive mode, you also understand, and you also know how it's happening in yourself, rather than when you are reacting. Reaction is something happening without this gap. So let's try the practice. This is the practice we were doing before. This is the basic and also the basement practice for in the mindfulness approach. And the practice is breathing concentration. So we concentrate on our breathing. Better to say, breathing helps us concentrate, and breathing helps us to understand this process of being attentive and focused. So as usual, I would like you to find yourself in the comfortable position, and remember that your posture is very important. So you want to keep your back straight, you want to be straight, your posture to be strong, but not very tensed. So relaxed but strong. And so think of your body, feel your body, and allow yourself to find this comfortable and strong position. You can sit, you can be in standing position. If sitting is more comfortable for you, you can sit in a lotus position, like I most of the time doing. You can be standing like I'm myself right now. And another thing is, think of your eyes. How is more comfortable for you to do this practice? If it's more comfortable for you to keep your eyes open, but remember that it may distract you, so all the things around you may distract you, or you can close your eyes, or you can just partially close your eyes and focus on something in particular. I will close eyes keep me more focused, more attentive to what's going on in my body. That's I know for sure. So if it's helping you, just close your eyes and keep breathing like you are normally breathing. And now I would like you to put all your attention to your body and just scan down, up, and up, down. Scan your body. So from your feet to your head, just go through your body, scan it. Allow yourself to notice all the body parts, and be aware about the parts that we are missing normally through the day. You know that we tend to be in our head so much, so we think that the most important part of our body is our head, but the rest of the body is very important and very helpful to us, sensing so much emotions, so much feelings. Sometimes we don't understand, we don't notice what's going on, and when it's too late, the body starts not signaling, but screaming and asking us to do something with it. So you scan your body, allowing yourself to notice all the body parts from your feet to your head, and from your head to your feet. And now you maybe notice that your attention is still not very focused. So it's mostly everywhere, because it's especially with body scan, of course, you are focused following each of your body parts, but it's still, the process is still very, you may be moving too fast with your attention, or you may be still thinking about other things. So right now, take a breath and focus on the sound you are hearing right now. The most loud sound out of in your space you are hearing right now. So I am myself hearing, of course, that might be for you, my voice and myself as well, but I am also hearing the computer working, the computer system working, and I think that the ventilator in this computer working. So what if you are having something that differentiated, something that stood out from the voice you are hearing right now? Try to focus on this sound. And what we are doing is we are noticing how the sound is appearing, how we start hearing it. And how maybe the sound is changing. Because we know that the sound is the waves. And so normally we'll just hear it and go on in our day. So right now, try to focus on the sound and try to learn something from this sound. Maybe some little details of the sound. But be very interested in how this sound is, how you start hearing it, how it's changing. And now, in this moment, you are training your skill of being focused. So imagine that your attention was so broadened, and now you are forming from this huge spectrum, you are forming the one straight, like laser line of focus to the specific sound. And now you know that you can do this. So with your broadened attentiveness, you can narrow it to this straight, very precise focus to hear specific sound. And now next step is to kind of train your meta-attentive state, is where you can see what's going on with this practice. So try to stand in a meta position, we say it. So in the meta position, you kind of observe what you are doing. Being able to observe from outside what you are doing, what's going on. So try to stand in this meta position and notice how you are focusing your attention on this particular sound. And if you were able to do this, we'll now going into our breathing again. And we'll take the full breath in and breathe out. Breathe in with your belly expanding, and breathe out. So breathing is happening through, it may happen through your nose, through your mouth, and the airflow going inside, going through your throat, going inside. Your diaphragm is expanding, your belly is expanding, and breathing is following this complicated process. So what I would like you to ask you to do right now is try to think of one particular area that you can focus your attention on, and when you are breathing, so breathing for you is this particular place. So for example, if I'm focusing on my nostrils And I'm only focusing on how breathing is going inside through my nostrils. So this is for me the point of breathing right now. Everything else is happening on the side of me focusing on my nostrils and on my nose. If breathing for you is expanding your diaphragm, so you are focusing on the particular area of your diaphragm, and you are trying to put all your attention here. So everything else is happening voluntarily unless the air is going into your diaphragm and you are focusing on this place. All your attention is going here. And you are trying to, with the wonder mind, with the mind of newborn baby, learning something new, trying to discover what's really is going on with your breathing here. So let's do this. We all find our place. We try not to breathe just with our chest, so we allow air coming in our diaphragm. But what you can feel in your chest is you can imagine how air is coming down to your belly. So I'm focusing on my nose, allowing the air in, and I'm, again, my wide spectrum of attention, I'm narrowing it just to one particular area of my nose, and concentrating, focusing on this air coming in. And then when I'm exhaling, the air coming out, because I'm right now breathing in and out through my nose. So I can feel the movement of air, the pressure, especially when exhaling, the temperature of the air going in and out. And also I can notice how different breathing feels right now for me, because I know that before I was concentrating more on my diaphragm, and now I'm doing the same thing. I'm breathing, but now all my focus is on my nose. My focus is not widespread through the whole process. It's focused on my nose. And how I'm feeling the different qualities of breathing, different characteristics. I don't know, special details when my focus is on just this particular part. You may feel different ideas, different feelings from focusing on a different part of your breathing process. And so right now, let's allow ourselves 30 seconds to just in silence breathe and focus on the part we picked up. I will interrupt your silence a little bit, just for you to remind you that you may notice your mind, even when you decided to be focused, you may notice your mind start wandering and going everywhere. We know that we don't judge ourselves, we just notice this process. We thank ourselves of noticing this, of noticing our mind wandering even though we decided to be focused. And we are gently bring our attention back and continue the process we started. So here you can see how this very simple practice can relate to our life. How many times in your life we decided to do something, we were thinking, okay, I will focus on this, I will do this. This is not a big problem. I just need to be consistent, focused, dedicated. I got it, I will do this. The next thing happening, or maybe the thing after, you were focused for some days, for weeks, for months. Then what happened is that you started wandering. You started deviating from the thing you decided to do. And most of the time, what's happening for us, we are diving into the process of reflecting on this, judging ourselves, being unsatisfied. We start hearing all these voices in our head, very judgmental voices. But what we can really do is thank ourselves of noticing our deviation. Be very grateful for our ability to notice it, and gently move ourselves back to the position where we were dedicated, where we were balanced, grounded in the process, and ready to do anything and everything for our goal. And so many times this can happen. Those deviations is a natural process of life. And how important living the mindful approach, gently bring yourself back into the moment of awareness, moment of presence, and control just those things that you are in charge of, the things just you are controlling, and do them the best. So try to embrace this understanding and relationship with simple things that we were just doing, teaching ourselves on our ability to be focused, narrowing our wide attention to this focus, to this laser focus thing, and be focused, be attentive, and keep this focus. And how we keep this focus? We keep it not allowing ourselves to deviate. We keep the focus because we can gently bring ourselves after deviation back into the process. And let's take this nice full breath in, allowing all the oxygen go in, and exhale. And one more breath in and exhale. And one more breath in and exhale. And again, really quick, scan your body. Maybe notice any difference after our exercise, our focused exercise. And you can open your eyes if your eyes were closed, and a little bit notice your body. You can move it, you can shake some parts, and just allow yourself to process all the emotions, all the feelings that came up for you during this practice. Another thing, I want you to think of how this practice of focusing can relate in the process of life we are all going through. So if we know how we are affected by news, by all the conversation, all the nervousness in the air, and take this moment, create this gap for you, allow yourself to have this life, even in between of stimulus and reaction. Think of your life, because here in between you have your true life with your significant others, with yourself, everything you can enjoy in this, and you can widen this gap this moment however you want, by practicing, practicing, and practicing. So let's talk about our homework. So I said that this our mindfulness program is going to be shorter, but once I start talking about this process that I'm so passionate about, it helped me so much in my life and continue helping. So I started being so passionate, so I can talk and talk and talk. So as I said, once you kind of got a taste of yourself being able to focus, at this moment you can ask yourself a question: what is going to be important for me? So this is when you are tasting your ability to focus on things and to narrow this wandered mind, to put it in a specific spot. This is a great time to ask yourself this question of importance. What's really is going to be important for me? You can start the day with this practice. Practice breathing exercise. Concentrate on the specific area of your breathing process. And once you are able to access this concentration, state of concentration, ask yourself what's important for me this day. What is coming up for me this day? And while you are going through the day, you notice when these things come up, you notice in your head this voice saying you, this is important, this is what I'm going to do. This is how it works. And if you are more attentive to what's going in your body, in your mind, you will for sure notice this. So let's talk about homework and practices for this week. Again, if you have any questions, if you need some help, comment below, comment on our Facebook page, reach us in our social media pages, and even send me a text or a message, and I will be very glad to answer any questions and help. So first practice is, it's very beneficial to start doing the practice journal. We've been doing our practices for quite a long time, so now we can start doing journal and put our thoughts about the practice, maybe some things that came up during the practice, or even describing the practice. Because even though we are still doing the same thing most of the time, all practices are different. And maybe you will write down the answer for this question of what is important for me. So it's very beneficial to write down. Of course, now we all have digital devices that are, I wish you set them aside at the beginning of the program and they are resting somewhere, but not in your hand. Of course, you can do it on your digital devices, but it's more beneficial for our brain to take the pen and write everything on a paper, because it connects our brain, mind, and it allows our cognitive function to work better. So you are writing down in your journal the way you are practicing the skill you are practicing, and we are practicing mindfulness here. Another wish for you this week is to find a moment, and it's just 3 minutes. I think you can afford, you want to afford this 3 minutes to yourself doing the breathing exercise. I know we all have a busy life. I know we all have a lot of things to do just for, even for 3 minutes, but try this week. Give yourself 3 minutes of breathing exercise and see how things are changing for you. So during these 3 minutes, you follow your breath, you practice your concentration and attentiveness, you practice your focus. And another thing you practice is what that I've been saying is you practice your metta attention. So the ability of yourself kind of stepping out of the process and see what's going on from outside. like you are now an observer of yourself. So this is they call metacognition. It's a very, very important process, and it's a process that we will talk about this, but we have this executive function of our brain. Sounds very professional, sounds very like official, but our brain is capable of performing this executive function, and it's very important to develop them. So metacognition is one of the executive function of our brain, and through this breathing exercise you can practice it as well. And another activity that I'd like ask you to do is, after you practice your focus every day for 3 minutes, another thing, try to be more attentive to the internal process in your brain that is going, those voices, not the strange voices outside, but we know we all have, we talk with ourselves in our brain, right? Not some like external voices that are a bit dangerous, and this is not a topic of our practice, but the internal voices that we are talking with ourselves in our head. And try to notice the critical voice. We have different voices. We have loving conversation, we have supporting conversation, we have very encouraging conversation. Try to differentiate and see the critical, the judgmental voice in your head. Who is talking with you this way? What language this voice is using? Whose pattern you are following to talk with you with this criticism? And I tell you, you can discover so many interesting things, but being more attentive to this critical voice. So try to meet this voice, and try to remember yourself being a child and meeting another child, your friend, your future friend. So you kind of go around this person, trying to understand what this person is all about, and how I can make a friendship with this. Oh, the person is so interesting. I want to know this person better. I want to understand this person better. I want to know how this person is living, where this person, or a kid, or your future best friend, so whoever it's supposed to be. So you're kind of wondering about who this person is. So the same practice I would like ask you to do with your critical voice. So differentiate it and try to learn a lot of things from this voice, especially what language the voice is using, who might be talking the same way, maybe from your outside surrounding, and how this voice is coming up for you. What's the situation this voice is starting like appearing more, and all of these important things. I enjoy this practice so much. I tend to be very judgmental to myself, and that's the skill, and this is the information I'm figuring out for myself in the current practice for myself. And it's very it's sometimes hard, it's sometimes challenging, but at the end, things that are hard, challenging, things that sometimes we do not want to do as much, but they make so much changes. They can create a really different way of living, a really different experience for us. So guys, I think you got some information, some food for thoughts, some practices you practice with us, and I'm very grateful for you. I'm very grateful for your support, because here in this process, it's not me, it's you. Because everything we are doing at CLC, at our programs, from Monday to Friday, and we're available actually every day. So your support is really matter. We are doing everything for you. And if you want to express your feelings, your thoughts, your support, please do so. But we feel it right now. We know how supportive you are, and that's why our programs are still going, and that's why we always willing to share, always excited to find some new information, things. And please follow us on our social media. They are very information wise, information heavy, and we always strive to provide you the greatest resources. Of course, our website, clcworks.org, the best opportunity to kind of catch everything we have here at CLC. So I'm very grateful for you. Keep practicing, keep doing your practices. Text us, leave us a comment of how it's going for you. Be more attentive, be more aware, and live this mindful approach for your life. And I see you again next Monday with another conversation, with another practice. And for now, I'll tell you goodbye and see you next Monday. And thank you so much.